Welcome back to Satisfactory. Now I do apologize again for sounding quite tired in the previous episode. Everything is alright with me, so don't worry about that. I was just extremely tired that day and I didn't want to lose any content or video for several days. So, I've done some rather extensive work, which is why I'm looking down at this thing. Let's have a look at the MAM and see what we've got. Ah yes, the expanded tool belt, of course.
Tool belt has been expanded.
Thank you, Ada. So I also realized that I was actually so tired that I didn't notice that I actually have two, or had, now I have three, two hand tool belt slots already at the time. So, yeah. Let's move on to Caterium. I believe I have... Yes, I was out and gathered a little bit more Caterium. So let's get the ingots so we can make those. And it doesn't appear that Ada wants to say something. So the next thing we need then is quick wire, which of course means that we need to smelt down Caterium ore. But fear not, I have already done some preparations for that as well. The next question is, what else should we research here? No, we don't need that. Overclock production, that would be very useful. And with that cost, I think that is what we should take. I don't think there's anything else that I want to take currently. Well, what I want is here, but... Nah, I think we need to take overclocking because that is rather important. I don't think we'll get around to showing off overclocking in this episode, but that will come very soon. Okay, so what have I done? Well, I've done this. Yes, I'm sure you're all quite amused by this. Why have I done this? Well, I realized that the landscape down here is rather annoying to build in, and also building out there would require me to go much higher. So this is now not very realistic in terms of weight. This thing would crumble to the ground, but it's also mostly temporary, and if it isn't temporary, I'll make it look more natural with some support beams when we get around to it. Now you might be wondering what the heck is going on here. Well, basically I've turned around these smelters so that I can have copper ore coming in here, and then copper ore going out here and up to that level there. And I've already set up 4 constructors plus 1. So I've started to prepare the area up here. I didn't feel it was necessary to show this off in the actual recording, because I've already shown off that in previous recordings when I did all the things down here. So what you're seeing here is that I'm on level 4 or 3, depending on how you count it. I haven't hooked anything up yet. The factory is currently not powered, which is very much on purpose. Even though some of those over there are green, they are not really green. Everything should be red. But we have gotten a fair amount... Sorry. We've gotten a fair amount of reinforced iron plates, which means that we have enough to make tier 2 belts, which I already have done up here. Yeah, this one is a tier 2 belt, so that I get all the output from these machines over to here. And that container over there contains the reinforced iron plates. I also removed the concrete foundations up there because we don't need them. So we have half a container full of these, which is good. Now the plan is to move everything down here, except for the smelters, up there. I don't think I want to record all that, so I'll probably just pause the recording while I do that. But another thing that I have done is that I've set up a mine haven't powered it up yet. Power is a luxury in the desert, unless you want to travel very far to get biofuel. You could go over there somewhere, I think. There are enough vegetation. Oh, there's a hard drive over there. There's enough vegetation in here to keep us going until we get coal. But I have an iron mine over there. I didn't want to bother with that one because that was an impure node. I believe that's impure as well. That's copper, too. No, that's a copper mine, I think. Yes, I'm fairly certain. Because this one is impure, that I remember. And this one should be impure. And the desert is kind of, as I've mentioned earlier, the desert is minor annoyance in terms of these nodes. Yes, this was impure. Because they are scattered all out in the landscape, where if you go to other parts of the map, you usually get the nodes clumped up. You'll get 2 or 3 or even 4 nodes together, like the Rocky Desert. One of the reasons why I really like the Rocky Desert is you don't really have to bother. This is copper, so this is a normal copper node. You don't have to bother with considering the implication of belting things too much, because you start out with a fair amount of pure nodes in a very tight area, which means that you can basically just take things slowly and build up in a very compact area. I think this limestone node over here too is impure. The pure nodes, there are plenty of pure nodes in the Dune Desert. Yeah, impure, but they are one here and one there, and like the nodes that we have here. So that building the factory in the desert is it has certainly been quite interesting for me to think and plan, because I've been in the game a great deal more than I have been recording, and most of the time goes with exploring the area, thinking what on earth am I going to do with the factory and how am I going to build in this area, which also was one of the reasons I chose the Dune Desert, because the only place I really haven't started a proper factory in, it would be the Northern Forest, but Wally has an excellent playthrough in the Northern Forest. The Northern Forest has the same thing as the Rocky Desert, maybe even better than the Rocky Desert, because there it's even more compact. So I wanted to do something different in terms of the area, and the desert is really quite pretty. That's something it definitely has with the dunes, but the dunes does provide that additional little challenge. I've also built this glorious tentacle ramp up there, and the reason for that is because up there, handily protected by those poison plants, we will find a normal Caterium ore node. So we get some Caterium from up there, which should be enough to supply us, and I'm going to smelt it down there somewhere and then bring up ingots to this platform so that I have smelting downstairs and the production up here before we move out into the Great Dune Desert. So what I think I will do now is finish moving these things up here, which I will do while I have the recording paused. Just to remind you all how I do this, you connect down there, you align the arrows, and you just build the lifts like that. What I haven't decided fully yet is whether or not I'll have this on ground level or if I'll take it up. I probably will take it up to maintain consistency. We also have the issue of clipping power poles, but I really can't be bothered with that. I don't want to build the power poles out here just so it doesn't clip with the lifts, so clipping power lines it shall be. So yeah, I'll finish this and I will see you momentarily. And I haven't done the pause thing, so this might be without the pause screen. In that case, I do apologize. Okay, so here we are. As you can see, I have the copper belt coming in with ore here. And two of the machines take ore from that side, while I have another belt coming from the other side, now in a much more orderly fashion, feeding these two machines, and everything goes out to these. And this is why I unpaused the recording here, because here you need to factor in belt speeds. So this would be 30, 60, and then we're above the capacity of a Mark 1 belt. This one is already Mark 2, but this has to be upgraded to Mark 2 as well. In addition to that lift over there, and the belt up there as well has to be upgraded to Mark 2. I will also quickly demonstrate what I have done over at the... I don't think that one needs to be Mark II, actually. No, it doesn't. Over there, at the entrance or exit of the little cave, the miner out there provides us with 60 ore, so Mark 1 belt is sufficient here, and the miner behind us also supplies us with the same, so the challenge after this will be the iron. So here we go. I'm surprised at how close that is without clipping, to be honest. Now the challenge with the iron is a little bit different, because we are producing currently, and I also have another node of iron that I want to take in. So we will have 8 smelters producing iron. I already have 6, whereas these two are not connected up to anything machine-wise yet. And I have another iron ore node. That was a difficult thing to say. Just around the corner of that cliff outspring there, which is also on a pure normal node. Not that it really matters, but this one, the reason there's 2 more machines here is because this is from a pure node. So this one is already producing 120 ore, which is sufficient to feed 4 of the machines instead of just 2 from a normal node. And we do need 8 smelters at this point, but the challenge with that is that 4 smelters will make 120, which is what our current belt speed, Mark II, can support. So the challenge now is to find a way to get 2 lifts up there and still make it look decent. And currently, I have no idea how to do that, so I'm going to have to plan that out as well. And I also intend to move these smelters somewhere like here, so that I get those lines up there. I might actually have 4 smelters on each side going out on each side of there, with 1 lift coming up and another lift coming up. But I'll have a look at that during the pause and see what makes most sense in terms of distributing the ingots between rod making machines and plate making machines up there. So I shall return again for you in a bit, for me maybe a bit more than a bit. And I am back, and it has definitely been more than just a moment indeed, in terms of what I've been doing. So here are the 2 belts that comes in from the pure and the normal iron ore node that we have out there. And I've put them onto stackable poles here. And that goes in here, and then Ada will probably say something about that. Or maybe I was too quick. And then the smelters here, they are now gone. So we're following with nice angles And the topmost of those belts converge in a merger there, where that other belt goes out along there to the iron mine that is just around the corner there. And this goes into this array here, which looks big. It isn't really. It's just 6 smelters on each side. But because of the belt speed, I have to do them in layers. So these are on level 3, the 2 first on this side, on the other side, and then the next ones on this side and the other side, level 4, and then finally level 5. And then we have, there's the belt where the ore is going to come in from the iron mine over there, and the iron mine over there. It's the wrong mark belt, but I haven't connected everything up here yet. Ah, I'm on the wrong toolbar. So these should connect there. But it has to be a Mark II belt coming in, but I haven't gotten that far yet. I wanted to show what I've done so far here. As you can see, I haven't connected up the belts. I've just connected the lifts, made them in the correct height and so forth. I have planned the ore coming in from this side, but I haven't finished the ore coming in from the other side here because the hub was in the way and the MAM is also in the way. So, because that's where one of them is coming in, and the other one, I probably have to tear that mine down and turn it around so that it comes out at the other side of this slug rock. I think we'll dub this slug rock, so that it can converge in a merger here and then cross. And I can't wait for Mark III belts. Mark III belts is kind of a major milestone, since it makes things like this a lot easier. Now we have this contraption up there, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to record this specific part here. Now, if you place a conveyor pole, whether it's stackable or regular, and then you take a lift without a belt connected to the top, it will think that you want to use that as the offset. So I couldn't just place the conveyor poles there with the lift. So I had to do some temporary shenanigans like this, where I just randomly placed down 3 belts going from the conveyor poles down. These obviously will be removed, so that I could get the lift there to be correct. And then it's the whole thing about how do you get the lift right in height. Now, as it so happens, I were lucky here because... bother. What I could do to get the lift correct on this level, let me demonstrate that actually. Well, I'm sure you see it without me demonstrating, because I had that conveyor pole handily available over there, although not with this belt, nor with that height on it. What I did was just build an additional stack on top of the one existing over there, and then I pulled the belt, and because if I put down the stackable conveyor pole, well, it's very hard to aim. But I think that if I were to put that there first, I'm pretty confident that we would now get the encroach thing. Let's see, because that would be another way of doing it. Okay, you don't get the encroach thing. So that's another way of doing it. If you have a stackable conveyor pole, this would be the correct height. So what we need to do is remove that. And I think I'm too far away because it didn't throw anything, so I don't think it's actually constructed yet. There we go. And then it's basically just pulling the belt, and now it will be the correct way, as you can see. So the next... that was the wrong hole. Sorry about that. The next lifts, and that is one of the things that I really wanted to show here. When you place now these lifts, if you're doing something similar, what you do is attach the lift at the top and you go to the same height. And since the lifts are a half in terms of height, I know that I need to go down 2. And it's the same over here. Here, I just go to the same height and I go up 2. And now, if I connect a belt to there, if the game would be so kind, thank you, and I connect that to that, I now have a straight belt. And the same goes for a belt from there to there. And I don't think I can place the belt because I'm probably in the way, but I can jump. Come on, there we go. And this would demonstrate also that the belt is straight, and you can see that the other ones are straight as well. So now that's how I place lifts. You get one of them right, and if you have them close enough to one another like I have here, it's not that hard to place them. But if you try to place them by eye, that's not always too entertaining, to be honest. It can actually be quite annoying. Okay, the next thing we need to do here is to get, let's see, so 1, 2, no, I'm not snapping to the correct thing there. There, I'm snapping to the correct thing. So 1, 2, and we know that we are going to have belts coming out on all 5 heights. So you just place 5 of them there, just as I've already done at this side. And these need to be Mark II belts because these are the end point belts. And then it's a little bit of a finicky thing to connect these up. So let's go up so that I can actually hit the correct height. Like so. And the final one. I'm not sure if this needs to be Mark II actually. It doesn't. This is sufficient as Mark I. It's out of the splitter there that needs to be Mark II, because 60 iron is coming in from each side. And now it's just a matter... Now I almost sound Italian. Now it's just a matter of doing the same thing on the other side. Because each smelter produces 30 ingots, so... I'll have to... Come on. Precision button is nice, but I'm too lazy to use it at the moment. There we go. So we now have 60 ingots coming out from each side, converging in the middle. And... well, I haven't set up the converging yet. 1, 2, 3. So they're now converging in the middle here, in 3 different locations. I can remove that belt because that's not in use. And this belt has to be Mark II. And then it's just a matter of connecting up the ore at this side as well. And this smelting array is more or less ready to go. I have placed down the power poles in there. I have also even connected the power pole to this smelting array over here. So this is where I'm going to connect up the power to the entire thing via this pole here. And somewhere over there, not sure where. This ramp here is just a temporary thing. I mean, this is more temporary than the rest of it. That sounds bizarre. But the point of that ramp is just to give me an option to get up there quickly without having to run over to that one. Let's go have a look at the MAM, because we can tear this down. Overclock production has been completed. Oh, she doesn't have a voiceover there. Buildings can now be overclocked using power shards. Power shards, we don't need slug scanning. We can already make yellow or green power shards, or rather we can make power shards from green slugs. Whereas if you make them from yellow slugs, I think you get 3, and the red ones, I think you get 5. Anyways, this MAM has to go, and we're done with that. So I'm going to connect up these belts. I can remove that Don't need that. I'm going to connect up these belts off camera again, but I want to go upstairs and just so you guys can see where I put the hub and the MAM and an equipment workshop. That, yeah, it's nice to have it up here because it looks like a complete area, but I'm probably never going to go here just to make something in the equipment workshop, and I could just plop one down wherever I am. What did we want to research next in the MAM? Not that. That would be nice, but I need to start melting down Caterium first. Color gun, I don't need that at the moment. Power slugs. I suppose I do have a yellow power slug, and I can't use it for anything else than the MAM research anyways, so let's just get that. Slug scanning. Slug scanning can be nice, it depends on where you are, but when you're in the desert, you can literally see the slugs. There's one over there, there's one up there, and there's plenty of them across the mountainside here, or canyon, or whatever we should call this. It looks like a Grand Canyon kind of thing. So you don't really need slug scanning in the desert, but it could be useful in the forest where there's so much foliage that you can't see them, or they are hidden on top of arches like that, and you can't really see the top of the arches. I know there's one over there, for instance. But yeah, now that I have these also done, I'm going to remove this, because now the belts are correctly aligned. And now it's just a matter of figuring out how on earth I'm going to place down the constructors that are going to make the iron plates, the iron rods, and the iron screws. Which in itself is going to be quite the project. However, it is getting rather late, and I've been at this for quite some time today. So I think that I might cut this episode short. Whoa, don't do that. Never do that. Let's go have a look in the hub before. I'm wondering, the jump pads, no. They are fun, but I'd rather just use hypertubes to get up and down. So basically, why I have 12 of those iron smelters down there before we round up is because I intend to have 2 assemblers making the reinforced iron plates, which are over there currently, but I'm going to move them up here. And I'm also planning to have 2 assemblers making rotors. And the reason why I want rotors is because we need the rotors to get to the next tier of research. As you can see, the smart plating requires 2 each of the reinforced iron plates and the rotors. So that's the thing that I'm planning here, is you need rotors to make these assemblers as well. So you want them automated, of course. Can't think of any part on the low tiers you don't want automated. But we definitely need them to get the next space elevator technology tier, that is tier 3 and tier 4, where we, amongst other things, get the tier 3 belts, or Mark 3 belts, which is going to make life a heck of a lot easier. So, yeah, that's why I have this. I'm not too happy having to run 12 of these because, as I mentioned earlier, foliage and energy for the biomass burners, that is a concern in the desert. I mean, there is enough here, but you have to cover pretty large distances to get enough of it. So that's the downside of the desert in terms of that. All of these are temporary, don't worry. I'm just wondering, I don't want this there because it ruins the river. If I want to get the belts in here, I think we'll do it. No, I'm not gonna deconstruct the one over there. These are still temporary. I'm going to use them for counting for the stackable conveyor poles. And I might as well show that off as well. Is going to encroach? No, it's not good because I would not want to move this currently. So what I want to do here is, first of all, switch toolbars. I want to do this just so I can see where I am, and then we want to have this here, I think. Yep. So we go up 3, and I believe that one over there, yep, that should be at 3 as well. And this is sufficient to use a Mark 1 belt. That's not right. Although it makes for a very funky looking thing. What did I do wrong here? It most certainly looks right. Is it too close? No? That's correct. So what's wrong then? I have no idea what's wrong there. This should connect to that. Okay, I must have hit something wrong because this is absolutely correct. It gives the correct angle. And it shouldn't matter that I had the stackable conveyor pole there either. Looks crooked. I might just be imagining things. I think I am. I'm getting tired, that's what it is. Okay, so this is in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This should be exactly the distance if you're at the same height. Yeah, so I probably could extend it a little bit more, but that's the usual distance I have. I have 6 foundations and I keep it at the same location on the... Oh, I'm missing concrete. I keep it at the same level because I don't like belts, especially not inside of the belt, like the ones coming from the miners. I'm not completely pedantic, so I don't run out there and make foundations to get straight angles out there, but in the base area I prefer to have as many straight angles as possible. I actually used up all my concrete. That's rather impressive. Although I'm going to tear down some of those foundations again, but still. Getting back here, we can connect up this belt to that one. Now I need to put down the... there we go. And then the belt. And now, this is always a little bit of a challenge as well. Because this comes in here, but it doesn't... Oh bother, it's at the wrong height as well, is it? Yes, it is. Can I accept a crooked belt? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to accept a crooked belt. But I don't want this to be at a lower height. What I can do, however, is make it at a higher height. Okay, I'll pause the recording while I fix that, and we will finish up the episode when I have connected up these 2 belts of iron so that everything is set for the production. So, be right back. Okay, I have to change the screen manually. There we go. So here we are. I have it now on height 4 instead of height 3. That didn't take too long. So what I need to do now is simply use a lift like this, and I get it down to the correct height. And now the final little thing that we need to do here is make sure that we get this aligned up correctly with both of the belts, which means like so. I remove this belt, I can remove the stackable conveyor, I can remove the two mergers, I can also remove these stackable conveyors. We will have a floating merger there, but I'm not too bothered about that. I like to think that the belts are keeping them in place. So the next thing then is to tear down this miner. And we rebuild it facing this way. And I think we want to take it up to that height. We build a couple of stackable conveyor poles here on height 3. And we connect that to this one, because I'm not that bothered with having some crookedness down here, I think. No, I'm not. And then I think I just leave this here. Ah, no. I want to remove these. This will be the final one. And we need to have a Mark II belt going in. I have to be sure that I do this on the correct one, so it will be this one. And that will now supply the first 4 machines. The next 4 machines are supplied by a different belt, and the final 4 machines are supplied by a different belt. Excellent. Now for the setting up of the assemblies up on the top there, where we are going to do iron plates, iron rods, screws, reinforced iron plates and rotors. That's something that's going to be an interesting thing to show. I'm going to plan it out, and then I'll show as much as I can in the next episode. The next episode will be about getting the products that we need for getting the space elevator smart plating stuff going, and maybe, just maybe, with some creative use of the pause screen, I should be able to get off the first space elevator delivery in that episode. But for now, thank you all so very much for joining me. And as always, please leave comments and questions in the comment section. And do remember that you can join us in the Discord server as well, where we have a dedicated channel for Satisfactory. So I will see you all either there or in the next episode.